This is the Depth Mystic Community Podcast, episode 55. Now this week, I think it's going to be a little bit of a mystery. What do you think, Jungian Depth Mystic Zach Tolan? Yes, it's one of those transition weeks. I had sort of a topic, but the energy does not seem to be present. And so I think we're just going to wing it. Well, that sounds okay. I mean, when we do a weekly podcast and we have to shoulder the burden of this entire ministry ourselves, we're going to have weeks when we're not feeling the energy. It's not like we didn't have an idea or two. It's just that for some reason, when we tried to record this before, those ideas weren't compelling enough yet to talk about. And so now we're talking about the energy. Well, what do we say after we've talked about the energy? Sometimes it's there, sometimes it isn't. Carl Jung called it libido, psychological energy. I mean, he used Sigmund Freud's term, but he expanded it beyond the limited sexual nature of Freud's usage. So for Jung, libido is psychic energy in general. But again, if we're talking about it because we happen to have a low ebb of it, then it calls into question what the rest of this episode is actually going to be about. It could be about anything or nothing. Overall, I have to say I'm very nervous. Oh yeah, why is that? Jungian Depth Mystic Zach Tolan. Well, I decided that I have to start live streaming. Whenever I try to work on projects, somehow the energy just leaves me. And so my current idea is that I should remove all barriers to public access to my process. Which means maybe I'll just live stream the work on the projects. Which projects are you trying to work on now? Well, as you know, I decided that I should try to become an author. But then when I sat down and tried to write, the energy just drained out of me. The last two things I was attempting to write were, one, I could call it my manifesto. But really, I think I was just trying to write my story. An apologia pro vita. An attempt to tell people who I am and what I stand for. By telling them the history of my life. Well, that sounds like a great idea, Jungian Depth Mystic Zach Tolan. Yes, it is a great idea. But somehow when I'm just by myself, trying to write that kind of thing, it hasn't been working. And so I bought some equipment. And my plan is to start live streaming. But I'm basically overcoming my last few nerves in that regard. And so you think that if you're live streaming the process, somehow it will be easier? Yes, I hope so. It's like I have some sort of curse at this point that prevents me from spending my time in isolation, crafting the things that I consciously think matter, but that something from my unconscious is cursing me or preventing me from just doing it. And so I'm hoping that by removing all of the barriers to the public, I will be able to overcome this curse. Well, I hope you can, for all of our sakes. I mean, if the whole premise of you being a depth mystic and you having this profound mystical experience is that it wasn't just for you, it was for the entire world, then whatever you have to do to overcome the obstacles, you just got to do it. Yeah, and so I'm setting up the equipment. I am sort of brainstorming a list of projects and stuff that I'd like to be able to do. And I think maybe I will live stream the creation of that list. In other words, I'm so unable to focus that I can't even plan what I'm going to do on my live stream. And as you said, the fate of the world may be at stake. Whether or not I can actually do the kind of work that you might think a depth mystic would be obliged by his initiatory experiences to do, to integrate with society. But I suspect maybe I can't do it without removing all of the barriers. Like there's certain mythologies that require the goddess to take off every item of clothing that she has before she can reach the bottom circle of hell, or the deepest part of hell, the deepest part of the underworld. And then St. Paul talks about how Jesus had to empty himself on the cross in order to achieve salvation, the kenosis. And so it's possible that I won't be able to do what I have to do unless I empty myself by live streaming it. But obviously, I'm a little nervous because if that doesn't work, I don't know what will work. I'll have to come up with another idea. But who knows if there is any other ideas? I'm sort of try whatever I can think of already. Okay, I guess that'll do it for this short episode. And maybe by next week you will have started your live streaming career. Well, yeah, thank you. By next week, we will know. See you then.